In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you, hands down, the most powerful practice that I've ever used to transform my limiting beliefs. And this has been through, more than a decade of intense focus on transformation, exploring everything from breath work to cognitive behavioral psychology to somatic release to plant medicine to MDMA therapy, to really putting my body into extreme circumstances and situations, whether it's cold or heat or fasting, in order to bring forth trauma and be able to resolve it. And this is a really, really important conversation because your beliefs create your reality. Your brain is a goal-achieving machine. And so if there is some situation or circumstance that you want to be able to transform in your life, the transformation or the change is a result of a changed mind. And we've had over 10,000 coaching conversations over the last 7 years with high-performing entrepreneurs, and we've been able to identify patterns. We've been able to continue to fine-tune and refine the tools and technologies that we use in order to create radical, rapid change in the way that individuals think and therefore the results of their life. And I'm really excited to share with you this tool. It's a 3-step tool that I'm going to be giving you today. I'm going to go through each step with you to make sure that by the end of this episode, you can actually utilize this tool in your life. And I believe that real change and transformation is a change in the brain. It's the capacity to use your mind to begin to downregulate your nervous system, to be able to overwrite the memories or the programs that you learned at a very early age that most people call trauma or limiting beliefs that are unconsciously showing up today in your life. They're shaping the emotional and psychological lens through which you're experiencing your life, and they are the sole cause of what we would call problems in your life. Not only problems in terms of the lack of joy that you might be experiencing around money or around time or in your relationships or in your business or in your career, but also they're creating these situations and circumstances because what you believe determines what you think on a moment-by-moment basis. What you think determines how you feel. How you feel determines what you do, and what you do has over time created your life. So anywhere that you're dissatisfied with your life, we can find the root cause in a belief that needs to be changed. And if that's true, what I just said, that real change is a change in your brain, it's a rewriting of the memories that have been hard-coded into your neurology that are creating this experience of you moving into fight or flight, then it's not about carving out some time in your day to work on rewiring your brain. The most effective solution would be a tool that you can take on the road with you. That as you're having these experiences, you can actually do the rewriting, or what some people call the rescripting, in the moment. What I look at this tool that I'm going to share with you today as a living meditation. And it's not a meditation where you go sit in the corner and you close your eyes and you om or you focus on your breathing. It's a living meditation in the sense that it is a practice that you can engage with at any moment in time throughout your day. And every time you engage in the practice, you're doing a new repetition. You're building new muscle fiber, new psychological, emotional fiber, new spiritual fiber, so that you can become more confident, more faithful, more abundant, more prosperous. And this is a practice that took me from being a drug addict and an alcoholic. I was running a company that I had raised several $1 million for. I was hustle and grinding. Even though I had this business, I was experiencing financial scarcity in my life. I had a few $1,000s in my bank account, 2 homes in foreclosure, racked up a ton of credit card debt. I was not in healthy relationships. I had no spiritual connection or relationship with a power greater than myself. And this practice that I'm going to share with you is the number one thing that is responsible for me transforming my life from that experience, not that long ago, 10 years ago, into the life I have today, where I've discovered what I'm meant to do. I'm living my purpose. I've created a very successful company. I'm married to the woman of my dreams. I have a beautiful family. I live in my dream home, and I feel connected on the daily to a power greater than myself, what I would call God. And I'm more compassionate. I'm honest. I'm authentic. I'm humble. And it's all a result of using this tool in order to rewrite those programs that caused me to be a David that I was really never meant to be. And so this doesn't require digging up a lot of old trauma. I spent about 20 years in therapy and we talked a lot about the past. It doesn't even really require you knowing what your limiting belief is. And what I'm going to be sharing with you is at the core of all the tools and technology we teach. So if you love this episode and you want to go deeper, you can jump on over to davidbear.com. There's links in the show notes. We've got a bunch of free stuff. You opt into our email list and you'll get a bunch of free trainings that can take you deeper into this. So this tool starts with a distinction. And you may have heard me share this distinction on other episodes. I really appreciated some of the recent comments. And by the way, for those of you who are becoming a part of our community and you're watching, multiple episodes and you're participating by asking questions, I'm so excited. And one of the things that I had noticed was that some of you have said, hey, I actually like that David sort of keeps talking about the same thing and applying it to different areas of my life because it allows me to go deeper. So this distinction is something I've shared with you before, and the distinction is a distinction that we call the two states of being. And the two states of being says that there are only two states of being, powerful states and primal states of being. What do I mean by states of being? What I mean is emotional states. So there are only two states of emotions, two categories of emotions, and we call them powerful states and primal states. Powerful states are states of being, or when you're in an emotion or a feeling that feels good. States of being like joy, curiosity, excitement, calm, peace, bliss, exhilaration. And when you're in this, you have compassion, you have empathy, you have connection with other people. In a powerful state of being, this is where you have a relationship with a power greater than yourself because you're living in faith. So you're connected to spirit or God or the universe or Jesus or Allah. Powerful state is where you have solutions, ideas, intuition, inspiration. And so really the name of the game is if you want to have a powerful living experience and you want to create change in some areas of your life, then what we want to do is learn how to spend as much time as possible in a powerful state. And you know this is just really common sense. When you feel good, you do good, right? You produce good, you think good. So we want to figure out how we can be in the state of being as much as possible. There are also primal states of being. Primal states of being are states of being that don't feel good. These are states of being like stress, anxiety, overwhelm, anger, jealousy. And these are states that, when we're in the state of being, compel us to compare, to procrastinate, to be in self-sabotage, to be in hustle and grind, to be in desperation, the feeling of financial insecurity. Like we could go through this long list of psycho-emotional experiences that you have on the daily. And those that don't feel good mean that you're in a primal state, right? Powerful states and primal states. An important part of this distinction is that you're always in one state of being or the other. Now, why are you always in one state of being or the other versus not in any state of being at all? And the answer is because these powerful states and primal states, they map to the state of your nervous system. So your nervous system is always in a parasympathetic state. That's rest and relaxation. Those are powerful states of being. Or you're in a sympathetic expression of your nervous system. That's fight, flight, or freeze. Those are primal states. So again, just going back to really understanding this distinction, everything that you're wanting to create, every solution that you're wanting to find to overcome any problem or challenge you have is going to come from when you're in rest, relaxation, and your personal place of power. That's the parasympathetic nervous system, or a powerful state of being. You picking up what I'm laying down? So not only are you always in one state of being, but you're never in two states of being at the same time. So you can't be excited and angry, right? You can't be curious and bored. Now, it may seem that way, but what's actually happening is you're toggling very quickly between these two states of being. But in the present moment, in this moment right now, you're only in one state of being. And you can check in with yourself right now. Are you in a primal state or are you in a powerful state right now? Do you feel good or do you not feel good? And so that's what's one of the things that's really, really nice about this distinction, which is at the foundation of the 3-step tool I'm going to give you right here, is that it's binary. Very easy for you to know, like, do I feel good or not? Sometimes it's hard to be aware of the actual emotion that you're feeling and to name it. Sometimes it's even harder to be aware of the thinking that you're having or the thinking that's occurring that's creating the emotion. But it's really easy. You feel good right now, you don't feel good, right? If you're feeling bored, you don't feel good. If you're feeling calm, you do feel good. So there's sort of this middle ground where we move from a primal state or one of the primal emotions up into a powerful state of being. And other great teachers have talked about the emotional scale. Like at the very bottom of the emotional scale is hopelessness. And then you can work your way up the emotional scale. Like anger feels better than being hopeless. Boredom feels better than being angry. And at some point you cross over the threshold into sort of a calm. Right? And from calm, then you can move into peace, into excitement, into curiosity, into joy, into exuberance. Two states of being, you're always in one state of being or the other. You're never in two states of being at the same time. What's important to understand, and we know this to be true, number one, because it's the root of behavioral psychology and an understanding of how the human mind works. Like, I'm not just making this up. But number two, again, after having 10,000 coaching conversations, that's a pretty big data set, so we're able to see patterns. And what we understand, what we found to be true, is that the only thing that determines whether you're in a powerful state or you're in a primal state is your own thinking. It's not the experience that you're actually having. It's the meaning that you're giving the experience. Right? So it's the thoughts about the experience that determine whether you're in a powerful state or whether you're in a primal state. And so the opportunity, if you want to condition your nervous system, if you want to train yourself to be operating from good feeling states of being, is to notice when you've moved into a primal state and know that the only thing that's causing you to move into a primal state is your own thinking. Okay? This is fundamental to understand, and it is really a massive step in taking personal responsibility. Because what we're saying is that the fact that your kids are misbehaving isn't what's causing you stress. It's the meaning that you're giving to this experience of your children and the way that they're operating, right? In other words, what we're saying is that when you get terminated from your job, that's an experience. And when you get terminated from your job, that's not what's causing you to move into stress and overwhelm. It's the meaning that you're giving the job termination, right? Something like, I'm never going to be able to find another job. How am I going to pay my bills? It's that thinking that's moving you into a primal state. And the reason that's problematic is because if you want to be solution-oriented and find a way to align your children's behavior more with the goals that you have for the morning, you're not going to be able to do that from a primal state. You're able to achieve that or be solution-oriented or be a change maker from a powerful state of being. And so we've got to take a look at the thinking. So again, two states of being, operating from a powerful state is the name of the game. We toggle back and forth between a powerful state and a primal state all day long. And if you truly want to master this thing called personal growth and you want to create change, then we need to find a way to operate more consistently from a powerful state of being. What's causing us to move into a primal state? It's the meaning that we're giving an experience. It's not the experience itself. Okay? So here's another really important part of this distinction. And you have to have this information. You have to understand this in order to be willing to use the tool. So I'm giving you a very brief PhD on transformation, right? On the science of change. And so this is required, and then we're going to get into the practice of it here in a second. What's also really important in terms of understanding the science of change is that not only is your thinking the only thing that's moving you into stress, anxiety, anger, hopelessness, depression, overwhelm, but the quality of the thinking, and again, this is from 10,000 coaching conversations that we've had over the last 7 years, 100% of the time we have found this to be true. The quality of the thinking that is moving you into a primal state is that the thinking is untrue. Okay? I want you to just sit with that for a second. 100% of the time that you move into a primal state, not only is it a result of your own thinking, meaning the meaning that you're giving the experience or the belief you have about the experience, but the quality of the belief or the thinking or the meaning that you're giving that experience is that it turns out it's untrue. And what's actually happening is you're activating vibration, literally the activation of neural networks in your brain, and an electrical result. We know this to be true from neuroscience. Whenever you have a thought, whenever you access a memory, there's an electrical activation. You're an electrical, mechanical, biological being. And then what happens is you experience that thought as an energy that then resonates through the rest of your nervous system. And whenever you're moving into a primal state is because it's dissonant energy. It's not in alignment with what's true. Now, let's unpack this for a second. What do we mean by what's true? Okay. So we had one of our new programs that we released a couple of weeks ago, and I'm doing some live coaching in it. And a woman said, but it's true that I lost my job. So how can you say that that's not true? That's what's causing me to move into a primal state, right? It's true, another woman said. You know, my kid has autism, and it's very challenging for me to interact with my child because he's overbearing and he has a particular way of behaving. And I said, yeah, but your child having autism is an experience. That's a fact. That's not what's actually causing you to move into a primal state. What's causing you to move into a primal state is the thinking about this engagement you have with your autistic child. He's never going to change. This is going to disrupt my ability to achieve my goals. I had a particular plan today and I needed to get these things done today, and now I can't get these things done because my autistic child is showing up however he's showing up. That's the thinking that's causing you to move into a primal state. And what we found is 100% of the time the quality of that thinking isn't true. You don't need to get those things done today. You just thought you did, right? Your child does have the capacity for change. It's a limiting belief that your child will never change. And it doesn't have to disrupt the vision and plans that you have for your life. But because you're entertaining those ideas, that energy is resonating through the rest of your nervous system, and it's not in alignment with the vision of possibility that the universe has for you. In other words, you're limiting your possibility when there isn't a reason to limit your possibility. And the challenge becomes that when you limit your possibility through these belief systems, that becomes your reality. Hey, it's David. Just a quick interruption to your regularly scheduled episode by your favorite sponsor, moi. I want to tell you about my book. It is available on Amazon right here, right now. A Changed Mind, Go Beyond Self-Awareness, Rewire Your Brain, and Re-Engineer Your Reality. In this little book are all the frameworks, the tools, the methodologies that I talk about on this show and that I've used to actually change my mind and that tens of thousands of other people have used to transform their bank accounts, their businesses, their relationships, their health, their spiritual connection, everything that you want to achieve. This is the way to achieve it. And Amazon has done us a good one right now. It's significantly discounted. So you can go and pick up your copy, or better yet, pick up a copy for a friend too. There's nothing better than giving the gift of transformation right now. Hop on over to Amazon. There's a link in the show notes. And if you love the book as much as I loved writing it for you, do me a favor, let me know that and leave a review. And now back to your regularly scheduled episode. I'm going to give you a quick example, tell you a quick story. It's not really a rabbit trail. It's very relevant. But this woman whose child had autism, I coached her on this and I said, your job is to notice that you've moved into a primal state when you're in these experiences or interactions with your child, to know that the thinking that is causing you to move into this primal state isn't true, and from that place, see what you have access to. Like if you're not being, he's never going to change, this is going to ruin my life, I needed to get things done today, now I can't, and so that's problematic. How would you be with your child? So she came back to me about 2 months later and she said, I can't believe it, everything has changed. I said, well, what happened? She said, well, I started realizing that those things weren't necessarily true because they were moving me into a primal state and I was coachable. And you said that anytime I move into a primal state, it's a result of thinking that's not true. And again, I'm going to give you the rest of the tool here in a second that allowed her to transform that thinking. And she said, but then I just started showing up as patient with my son. I started showing up as compassionate. I started showing up as not rushed, not threatened. I said, then what happened? She said, it was the most miraculous thing. His behavior changed. He was actually just reflecting back to me my own anxiety. My anxiety was triggering and activating behaviors in him that I thought were really related to his autism. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but they were enhanced as a result of me showing up with these limiting beliefs in a primal state. She said it's been an absolute game changer. So the solution that we're looking for, right? I'd like to have a more peaceful environment at home and a more cooperative experience with my child who may have some learning disability. That's the desire, right? I want a solution for that. I want to be able to achieve that. That can only be achieved from a powerful state of being. Sometimes it happens naturally. Sometimes you have new thoughts and ideas and you pursue those thoughts and ideas and you produce a solution. But if you're experiencing something that is problematic in your life, you're just going to create more of those problems if you experience it from a primal state. And so the key is for us, number one, to notice that we've moved into a primal state. Number two, to be responsible for the fact that the only thing that is causing me to move into a primal state is my own thinking. It's not my autistic child. It's not this external experience that I've been blaming this emotional experience on. And number three, to know that whatever that thinking is, it's not true. It's not the plan. It's a limited possibility. Another example of this is a woman said, but it's true that I lost my job. So I moved into a primal state. And I said, yeah, but you didn't move into a primal state because you lost your job. You losing your job is a fact. But when you lost your job, what were you thinking? She said, well, I was thinking that I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I built up my entire career in this industry. Like, what if I'm not able to get another job doing what I do? Then I'd be jobless, and then I wouldn't be able to afford to pay my bills, and then I'd be homeless. And I said, yeah, that thinking, those beliefs are what's moving you into a primal state. And the irony is if you continue to entertain those beliefs, then because your brain is a goal-achieving machine, there's a possibility that you actually produce that result. But we want to look at the thinking, and we want to go, well, if this thinking is moving me into a primal state that I'm never going to be able to find another job, then it's what? Well, then it's not true. Like that's not the plan that intelligence or life has for you. And you're getting this emotional feedback. Your nervous system is like an emotional guidance system. It's like kind of walking around with a lie detector machine inside of you. And anytime you move into a primal state, it's a result of one thing and one thing only, which is your own thinking. And if you were able to identify the thinking, we would find that it's not true. It's a limiting belief. So we're able to take this hypothesis, because I'm not asking you to believe me right now. I'm asking you to go road test it, right? Go apply the scientific method to your own life, to your own mind, to your own experience. But the opportunity and the living meditation that I am in, and this is a significant evolution from the work that we've been teaching over the last few years. It's just getting more efficient, and easier and easier and easier, is that as I go through my day-to-day experiences, the most important thing for me is noticing, do I feel good or do I not feel good? And if I don't feel good, I know that the only thing that is causing that emotional experience for me is my own thinking. And I know that that thinking is not true. It's not true. And what's so powerful about this is if you want to change your beliefs, if you want to change your habit of thought, you have to change the habit in the midst of experiencing the limiting belief. And what's showing up for you as a reaction to these undesired experiences of your life are your belief systems. Oh my God, it's never going to work out for me. Oh my God, I'm not going to have enough. Oh my God, there's not enough time, right? Oh, I'm not as far along as I should be. But those are beliefs that have been around for a long, long time. Those beliefs formed at a very early age. Like science tells us that, almost all of your belief systems formed before the age of 7 as your brain was forming. So you not being enough, right? Or you not being able to get it all done, or you being afraid of failing, or seeing that money was hard to make, that's been around since you were a kid. So it's just a memory. It's showing up again as a reaction to this experience that you're having. But this experience is a new experience. It's not what happened when you were a kid. But if your reaction is the same, then you're going to make the same kind of results out of this new experience. And this new experience has the possibility to guide you to a different result, to guide you to financial prosperity, to guide you to well-being and bodily wellness, to guide you to your soulmate, to guide you to an improvement in your relationship, to guide you to a marketing solution in your business, to guide you from your career into having a business. So I believe that, if you think about it, every moment is a miracle. Everything that had to come together to be coordinated in order for you to have this experience required an infinite sophisticated intelligence. Right? In order for you to have any individual experience. You just think about it. You're sitting down having a meal, and we don't appreciate, just in your salad, the generations of farmers all around the world and what they did in terms of tilling the land and, being able to produce the produce, and then all of the transportation that's required to bring it to you, and then the distribution channels of the grocery store in order for you to actually be able to go to the store, and the miracle of the automobile and the creation of the automobile. Like, you're living in a miracle every moment in your life. Every single moment is a miracle. And it's been intelligently designed to support you in experiencing what is your birthright, which is well-being on all levels. And so anytime we're giving a meaning to an experience, that we're having that is anything other than that, we're not in energetic resonance with reality. And so you've got this antenna running through your entire body, which is your nervous system, and you're experiencing the fact that this thinking is a bad signal. This thinking is not in alignment with what this experience is meant to do. Every experience is an opportunity for growth. Every experience is an opportunity for evolution. Every experience is an opportunity for you to have more joy, more abundance, more well-being. So this woman's experience with her child was an opportunity for her to improve her relationship with her child. And actually her child was giving her the gift of that opportunity for improvement, because what was coming up for her was unmetabolized trauma from her childhood and all the pressure that she puts on herself to have to be able to do it all. Otherwise she will be a failure. And all the pressure that she puts on herself and fear that she has in not achieving her full potential in her dreams or her vision, so much so that that fear has caused a misinterpretation that her child is actually getting in the way of her dreams, versus the fact that her child is probably the nucleus of her dreams. So the two states of being, knowing that our thoughts are the only thing that move us into a primal state, and knowing that the quality of the thinking isn't true, it gives us, taking a responsibility and not blaming our external circumstances is actually an ability to respond. So we have an ability to respond to the limiting beliefs and the trauma that shows up by actually acknowledging that they're not true. Because you don't even need to know, and this is what I said at the beginning of this episode, you don't even need to know what is true. All you need to know is that whatever it is you're thinking in the moment, it's not true. So when I notice that I'm moving into a primal state, a state of emotion that doesn't feel good, all I do is I check in with my thinking. The other day it happened to me and I was thinking oh my God, I'm not going to have enough. And I was like, oh, that's not true. How do I know? Because it doesn't feel good. That's not God's will for me. That's not the universe's will for me. Now, if I want to sit down and journal around it, I can have a profound breakthrough around it. If it's not true that I'm not going to have enough, then what is true? And I've talked about this in other episodes. One of the most powerful distinctions that transformed my relationship with money was the awareness that I've always had enough, I have enough, and I will always have enough. From that place, I downregulate my nervous system. I'm operating from a powerful state. I feel safe. And so what happens? I start having ideas on how to have more, how to make more money, how to have more joy, how to have more relationships. But it comes from being aware that I've moved into a primal state, knowing that if I'm thinking something that doesn't feel good, it's not true. And in the moment of acknowledging that it's not true, I just don't entertain the idea anymore. I don't even need to know what is true. I just go, well, it's not that. Let me carry on. And neuroscience tells us that that's actually a neurological pattern break. What normally happens is you just continue to indulge and entertain this idea that's not true because we're not aware of the two states. We're not paying attention to our emotional state of being. We're not aware that our thinking is causing our emotions. We're not aware that when we don't feel good, we're thinking something that's not true. And so we go on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 days, ruminating around the same thing that's not true, continuing to activate those neural networks and deepening the limiting belief or the trauma, because it's a habit, it's a practice. So this tool that I'm giving you, what I'm calling a living meditation, that arises from an understanding of the two states of being. I should probably give this thing a name, huh? It's pretty powerful. It allows you to pattern break, to habit break throughout the day. So what's the 3-step process? Number 1, notice when you've moved into a primal state, right? Just notice. So this is very easy. You don't have to do anything. Just notice, oh, I don't feel good. Step 2, take a look at the thinking that's taking place. So just notice what you're thinking, right? I'm thinking that I'm not enough. I'm thinking this is never going to work out. I'm thinking that he shouldn't have yelled at me. I'm thinking that they shouldn't be doing those things. I'm thinking that I should be further along than I am. Okay, got it. That's what you're thinking. Step 3, acknowledge the fact that if that's what you're thinking and it doesn't feel good, it's not true. That's it. Go. It's not true. It's not true. That's not God's will for me. That's not the universe's plan. This is a misinterpretation. You don't even need to know what's true. What's true will become obvious to you if you're no longer chanting the limiting belief in your head. If you just give it a little bit of space. So I'll go, oh, that's not true. And I'll go, you know what? I'm just going to relax for a minute. Let me go for a walk or let me carry on. I don't know what's true, but I know that that's not true. I know that that is not God's will for me. You know, I was in recovery. I built a relationship with a higher power of my own understanding. I call it God. You don't need God. You could just say that's not intelligence or the universe's plan for me. I don't need to know the plan right now. I just know it's not that. So my job is one thing and one thing only. Just don't do that. Just don't keep thinking that. There's kind of a step 4 extra credit to this. Remember, step 1 is notice you've moved into a primal state. Step 2 is take a look at the thinking, because that's the only thing that's causing you to move into a primal state. Step 3 is acknowledge that that thinking that you've identified, if it doesn't feel good, it's not true. Carry on. Step 4, if you want, because the universe does operate according to frequency and an ask and ye shall receive law or mechanism, you could also just ask for, to whatever, the universe, God, Jesus, Allah, doesn't matter, ask for right perception. Just ask for right perception. Hey, universe, I know that this is not accurate, this thinking. Give me some right perception. And then walk away from it. Don't try real hard. That just brings more resistance to it. But just relax. And you know what? Eventually you'll have a thought, an idea. Someone will say something. You'll watch some video where you go, got it. Got it. It's not that I don't have enough and I might run out. I've always had enough. I have enough and I will always have enough. Got it. Wow. That's a game changer. And if you're willing to live in this practice, in this meditation, by the way, imperfectly, it's not that I don't get entangled and I spend a day ruminating about something that's not true and it causes me to feel like shit. That's right. You don't have to be perfect about this. All you're doing is new reps in a new direction, right? And in the beginning, as you do this, it's going to be like when you go to the gym for the first time. You know, you're not expected to squat 400 pounds. You just do some reps. And you start to build some new muscle. You start to change the momentum from the limiting belief and the trauma projection of your life into the promised land and feeling good on a regular basis. But eventually, if you're willing to be in this practice, you get to a place where you don't have any problems. And what's interesting is it starts with perceiving that you don't have any problems. You still have the same experiences of your life. You still have the kid with autism. You still have the job that you've lost. You've still got maybe not as much money that you want in your bank account. But as a result of this simple practice, you start perceiving that those aren't actually problems anymore. And then not having problems becomes real. It becomes real in terms of your child is just, my God, behaving differently. It becomes real in terms of, my gosh, it worked out perfectly. I didn't want that job in the first place, and I found another great job, or I started my own business. Right? It becomes real when we look at your bank account. It becomes real when we ask you, are you in pain anymore? And you go, no, I just feel good in my body. I just healed on my own. Right? So it's important to understand the problem is never the problem. The problem is your perception of the experience. Change your perception and your life changes. So I hope this was helpful for you. As I mentioned before, you can hop on over to davidbear.com. I've got a bunch of tools for you. If this episode moved you into a powerful state, my only ask is pay it forward and share it with somebody else. And we'll keep going deeper into this conversation, because I know that everything that you envision for your life is a possibility, or you wouldn't have been given that vision. And the way to get there, the way to be experiencing that vision right here, right now in your life, is not to figure it out. It's not to hustle and grind. It's not to get lucky. It's to simply identify the resistance or the limiting beliefs that are the only thing that are preventing you from experiencing that reality right here, right now. And when you do that, when you're able to identify the beliefs and transform them, and this tool that I've given you today is, man, it is the simplest, most efficient of anything that I've seen out there, then your life will change. And it changes as a result of a changed mind. I love you so much. You're doing all the right things. I'm glad you're here. And I will see you in the next episode. Hey, it's David. Hop on over to davidbear.com. Click right here. There's also a link in the show notes, and sign up for our newsletter. You'll get immediate access to my free Mind Hack ebook, as well as a couple of trainings to help you master the inner game. This is a great way to stay informed and be a part of our community and be notified of special announcements. Click below, head on over to the website, get subscribed. If you loved this video, make sure you check out this one or this one, and I will see you in the next video.